This is Riga, our capital city, our cultural center, our beautiful architecture. Welcome to Riga.
Welcome to Riga.
Let's race.
Hello, Sveiki, as they say around here, and welcome to Latvia. You're joining us live, the best possible seat for round 9 of the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship. Unless you were in that grandstand or in that car, you couldn't be in a better place. So thanks, let us know where you're watching from, share it with all your friends and tell us who you're rooting for. Now, we've been here 3 times before. The first time we came here 2 years ago, this guy, Sebastian Loeb, won, but he hasn't won here since. We've got his car alongside him is the car that he runs, so he's got to keep his nose clean. That's Gregoire de Moustier, and all the teams are assembled ready for qualifying 1, which you're about to watch live. Grandstands absolutely packed. Let's have a look where we got to so far this season. So we have entered the final third of the season as the leaves start to turn brown. We were in France 2 weeks ago and now we're in Latvia. We're very close to the capital Riga on the Baltic coast, and in the forests. This is the Bikinieki National Sports Base. It's an amazing complex, but this is a purpose-built rallycross arena in a classic motorsport circuit that dates back to the 60s. So Sebastian Loeb has just disappeared for his comfort break and then got in the car. He always does that. He used to do that on the rally stages as well. Let's see if we can grab a quick word before people get in the car. Petter, hello. It's good to see you here, and you're a bit of a qualifying 1 specialist. So what's your plan for qualifying 1 here in Riga?
Well, yeah, quite hard heat, you know, with all these guys, and we just have to try to get a very good start, keep it clean, and try to go as fast as possible. You know, we need a lot of points for the championship for sure, but still you have to be a little bit careful so you don't get any zeros, and that's the hard part. But I think good after practice. Okay, some of the other guys was a little bit faster, but we know where we lose, so we just have to improve that area.
Now, the last 2 times we've been here, A, it's been wet, and B, you've had sort of increasingly bad weekends in Latvia. Hopefully this will be 3rd time lucky, but how do you approach an event like this that's been a bit of a bogey event for you in the past?
Well, the thing is, it's not okay. It was quite big damage on the body last year, but you know, I just remember back again to the crash in Germany. I won the 3 races after, so you know, I think things like that you forget very quickly and keep on doing what you do, and we will see.
Well, hopefully the fact that it's dry will help, but a little bit of dust, I think, today.
This is fantastic conditions now, and a lot of people, and you know, I think the whole event they have done a good job.
Good luck, Petter.
Thank you very much.
So I can hear the engines firing up over there. That's the start line, and just past it is the commentary booth, where I think Guy Wilkes is joining your commentator, Andrew Coley.
Best seat in the house for us, I think, here at Turn 1. We can see it all happen outside the direction. We saw Petter's crash, of course, last year. Not great memories for him of Latvia, but great memories for us. This is such a brilliant venue. Literally to my left is a packed grandstand, and I mean packed every seat. There's people around the forest watching, and Guy, you've competed at this venue. It's got a really cool atmosphere, and it's a brilliant track.
I struggle to get excited about coming and spectating in places, but here I'm absolutely buzzing for this weekend. The grandstands are packed, as you said, the music's pumping. I actually love driving this track, which, okay, I've got to talk about driving on this weekend, but that's not such a bad thing. But this track is amazing. It's the closest you get to my old motorsport rallying. Trees, they've made a fantastic effort and a great job. Can't wait to get started.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant here. Fantastic stuff. You're going to see the World RX cars heading up through that little forest section at the back in a minute over the jump. Action about to get underway. So we should take a look at the standings as they are coming here to Latvia. Round 9 of the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship. As you can see, a massive 59-point lead for the current champion, Johan Kristoffersen. He can't win the championship this weekend, but if he has a good weekend, he can set himself up to do so in Kota. Bakkerud and Solberg, 5 points apart. Further 2 points back, Timmy Hansen, then Ekstrom and Sebastian Loeb. But a note for you, Timmy Hansen unfortunately had a third engine last night. You're only allowed 2 for the season, so that is a 15-point penalty. That won't appear on the points until the end of the weekend, because that's the way that it works. When the results are published at the end of this weekend, he will lose 15 points. So bear that in mind. Timmy has dropped a little way back in the fight for P2 in this fantastic series. That is the grandstand down at turn 3. It was turn 4 where Solberg and Ekstrom came together 2 years ago, and the stewards decided that Solberg was disqualified. There's another big grandstand up by the jump. This place is mega. So we are going to get the action underway. Take a look at the grid for Q1, race 1 from Latvia, round 9 of the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship. On the inside, Gregoire de Moustier. Next to him, Sebastian Loeb, who runs the team that de Moustier drives for. Galain Chicherit in the middle. The Renault was brilliant in France. They struggled a little bit in practice this morning. Timozyanov was up in P11 this morning, and Kevin Eriksson on the outside. This will be fun. Super organised here. Watch for the marshals leaving the grid. They even walk down to the... Look at this. Synchronised thumbs up. Have some of that race control. This event is so well organised. You've got to come here. It's 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes from the airport to the city, and another 10 out to this incredible track. It's a Soviet-era racetrack with a brand new, bang-up-to-date World Rallycross track on it. Good start across the entire grid there. Loeb on the inside here. Timozyanov's going to try and shut the door on the outside of Chicherit. Can't quite. A little bit of contact between them. Into the first corner, it's Loeb who leads the whole shot. Chicherit in behind him, and then it's de Moustier gets dumped down to the back. So, guys, we've seen some pretty crazy starts. You and me have been watching European Rallycross here for the last few minutes, waiting to go on air. That was pretty tame by comparison to some of them.
It was tame, but as a driver, you don't really want that sort of contact, feeling it from behind inside the car, especially in Q1. Guys, as we know, are racing for points at the moment. Okay, yes, racing against the clock, but at the same time, you know, they want a good start. Q1, first race out of we're buzzing and pumping as much as those drivers are, because the atmosphere here is absolutely rocking. I mean, Latvians know how to do one thing really well. That's party.
Yeah, they do.
Give them a budget and tell them to organise a rallycross event.
And they do it even better. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic event. So, Guy, talk us through a lap. I'm guessing we're probably going to follow. We're going to see a little battle between Timozyanov and Chicherit. Timmer, I think, maybe being held up a bit. I say, look at that. Yeah, look at the difference in there. So you could see Timmer with a much more aggressive racing line through turn 1 into turn 2 than Chicherit. I've been across and seen the Pro Drive boys. They're looking to try and make up some time. Of course, they didn't come to the mid-season test because their cars were on the boat. Tim having a look up the inside. Their cars were on the boat out to Canada. So a lot of these teams have got a bit more data here than them.
Yeah, they do indeed, but remember, those cars are designed very differently, and also the driving style is very different. The one thing that GCK Renault has is a lot of lateral grip. You see the car is very, very stable when it's either when oversteer, whether it's slightly tail out, but it's very rarely tail out. It has very good rear end grip. So, you know, Ghislain hasn't been here for 2 years. He was here with me in a Mini back in 16, so he's skipped a year. Obviously, Tim has been here every year. So it's one of those things. Ghislain will be just finding his feet. Still, you don't get a lot of practice now. You know, obviously, it's limited, the number of laps you get. And again, like you said, the data...
Eriksson gone round. Eriksson clips the barrier out in the last corner. I think he must have a problem, Guy, because he was well off the back of the back.
Yeah,
anyway.
Look at the right rear. It's dancing in. The track rod on the rear right there.
Oh, Kevin. He's got to try and make it to the finish because he doesn't want a 0-pointer. Loeb out front. Anton Markland was the quickest of the Euro drivers with a 3:26. Obviously, they're not in the same series, but that'll give you a little idea of where it's going to be. Fastest lap of the day for Loeb. We've seen quite a lot of gravel flying around. He's going to head down towards the finish line now. Pop that big curve. That was supposed to be the uncuttable curve, which they drive straight across the top of. Round the left-hander is Sebastian Loeb, the winner here 2 years ago, takes the first race of Q1.
He's got another lap.
Oh, sorry, Guy. Yeah, correct. Well done. Good lad. I wonder why I was pointing at the screens.
We've had that mistake once already in the Euros. Mike Anderson was leading after 3 laps, and herself and her teammate got it wrong. She actually pulled off the track.
Really?
Then they realised she was leading. She thought she'd won the race, and then she ended up 30 seconds behind at the end. So again, one of those things, you know, just everybody getting into that rhythm. But at the end of the day, we've been watching Sebastian Loeb around the track now. Yes. We've kind of forgotten about him because he's just checked out and gone, hasn't he? Super
abrasive around here, Guy. This was one of the things I was going to say about. Look how dirty the braking zone is into there. We were watching Nirtish versus Raymond in Euro. You've got to get that braking zone right if you want to set a decent time. Now we're going to find out the target time, Andrew. A lap later, you muppet. 3:26.8 was that of Markland. Let's see if the world guys are a little bit quicker. Over the line, yeah, it is 3:21.9. So that's the difference in pace between Euros and Worlds. Oh, Chicherit and Timozyanov super close behind each other. So yeah, around, what are we looking at? Around 5 seconds faster, I think it is, than the pace, maybe 4 seconds faster than the pace of the Euro guys. How much do you think that braking zone's going to clean up, guy, on the way into the Joker? Because, of course, people are only doing it once a lap.
It depends, because obviously, yeah, here we see Kevin Eriksson just making to the finish. That's a real tricky car to drive because the toe's changing on the axle and the brake. So it oversteers one way. The next thing, you can't turn the thing because it's lazy.
Yeah, it doesn't want to turn in, and now, of course, if the wheel turns the other way, it'll turn in.
Whack, it'll spin him round. No problem, as we've already seen. So
what a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. But nevertheless, what you were saying about the gravel is that, yes, it might clean, but this is like a cement-impregnated gravel here to keep, obviously, the surface very consistent throughout the event. And actually, if it starts to pull that surface, it won't clean much because it's a heavy braking area, so it will constantly be pulling and pulling and pulling. But it looks like we're going to get sunshine all weekend, but I love this circuit when it goes wet.
Yeah, you said earlier on today, like, the grip levels flip, don't they? When it's somewhere that's as abrasive as this. You were saying the tarmac is more slippery than the gravel in the wet.
Yes. It's a very old circuit, as we've said, but here we go, results.
Loeb 321.9, followed by Shisharit, Timizyanov, Demoustier and Ericsson. I get the impression Timizyanov could have gone a bit quicker there than Shisharit, but that's the racecraft for you. Didn't get it done this time, and poor old Kevin Eriksson, look, 1 minute and 4 seconds off the back, so he'll score better points than he would have done if he'd been a DNF. Take a look at the start, so we can figure out if Kevin got the damage done there. Watch for Eriksson on the outside. It was his rear right, so I don't think he did get it done there. Big squeeze for Shisha. It did well to get in front of Timmer. What happens in the background? No, nothing really for Eriksson there, was there? So it must have been later in the race, guy.
And the only car that was following him was Demoustier, so unless Demoustier did sort of...
No, he was a long way back off the jump. I spotted that on the first lap. So Demoustier there looks a little bit tardy on the gravel section. Look at Timmer, absolutely fully lit. But this, you know, Shisha went Joker here, but nice job on the braking zone.
Yes, you have to be so neat into there, because if you drag slightly wide too long on the brake, you hemorrhage so much time.
Loeb takes the checkered flag. We're going to head down to Neil Cole.
Sebastian, first race of the day, a very, very easy-looking race win. How was the circuit?
That circuit was good. This time I was able to take the best start of my hit, so I had a clean race. I could push on my own without looking around. So it was a good run. I think I really tried to push hard from the start to the end, no mistake. I'm happy with the run.
Well done, thank you.
Well, Loeb's really happy with that, and he should be, because I say that the Euro guys are not slow, are they, Guy? They're very quick, and for Sebastian to have gone 4 or 5 seconds quicker than that indicates that was pretty good. I guess he's happy because he got a good start and then was able to do his own thing.
Exactly that, you know, although there was a bit of bumping and rubbing into the first corner, he got out in front and he could concentrate on his own driving. He's used to it, being a rally driver.
Q1 race 2, Toppy Heikkinen on the inside. Good to see Toppy back again. Of course, he was in France too. Peter Solberg. Scheider, who last year set fire to his car. He told us a very entertaining story about how that all panned out on Facebook Live this morning. And then Andreas Backrud and Matthias Ekström. Ekström, who I spoke to this morning, said he wasn't over the moon that the two of them had been drawn side by side in Q1. And that's not because he doesn't trust Andreas, it's because he'd rather not have both cars in the same race. So 3 very fast drivers in this. I would argue 5 very fast drivers. This is an exceptional lineup. Remember, Q1 is by a random draw, so particularly to see Ekström, Backrud and Solberg in there, but Scheider and Heikkinen too. This is a very tough first race, so let's get ready to go for it. Heikkinen's dropped back on the start straight away. Ekström moves wide, gives Backrud a bit of space. Contact between him and Scheider. Ekström with the whole shot from around on the outside of the grid, straight out in front of Solberg. Solberg stops into Peter and Backrud right behind him. Really clean start.
I was just about to say that was super clean, wasn't it? But it kind of happened instantly off the start line. It wasn't a level drag down to the first corner. Everybody got staggered and everybody's sensible, you know, even though Toppy's been sat out for a fair few events. He's a, you know, wise head on young shoulders, and I think he was left out the back door, in all honesty. But it just all didn't Constantine, it was just all slotted into place, and away they went.
Backward over the jump, you can see it's a big jump there. Johan Kristoffersen yesterday was talking to Alex Wirtz. We'll have a chat about that when we see Wirtz race shortly. Into the Joker lap goes Scheider on the first lap, but it is Ekström from Solberg. And Solberg, to me, you know, everyone, I was talking to Petter yesterday, and how he's saying, like, Peter, people keep saying, oh, the Polo's the best, the Polo's the best. He actually doesn't think the Polo is much better than the other cars. He feels that it's everything that they do around their approach to the event which makes a difference. What do you think, Guy?
I would have to agree. You know, it's going back to different motorsports. If you look at people who have dominated, it's everything. It's the car, the driver, and the team. Every mechanic, every engineer, even the chefs in there. That happy environment.
It's something that Volkswagen have done very well, of course, with things like the Dakar, of course, recently too. You know, it's that approach to everything being barcoded, everything being perfectly well organised. We're
Absolutely
on board there. And just a moment, Solberg goes Joker. So Solberg's going to go Joker.
He's got a gap to probably slot out in front there of Häkkinen. You know, it's about 3 seconds. So he had to, you know, okay, maybe it's going to be tight, but probably not. Here we go. We're going to see the merge pretty soon.
Yeah, 3 points. That gives you an idea. It's just over 3 then, isn't it? Oh, no, maybe around 3. So
it's around about 3.
Häkkinen's actually done pretty well there. I wonder if he's managed to close it down a bit. Looking at his last lap, no, it was okay, but... Right, so now it comes down to what Audi do about their Joker laps. Now, Guy, this was the talking point of France. I think a lot of people felt that maybe they should have responded immediately to what Johan Kristoffersson did, and I wonder if they'll do that here with either one or both cars to not give Petter clear air. There
well, it's only 2 corners, so we're going to find out, but you know, yes, definitely. You know, obviously, Petter, it's one of those things, you've got to send the first car really now, because obviously the second car hasn't got enough time to get back out in front of him. So you've got to give yourself a chance of doing it, because otherwise Petter's got clear air now, and if he is slightly faster, which he was in the first lap, he was on the back of Matthias.
It's going to be close between them. Ekstrom round the left. Actually, Ekstrom's done a tiny job there.
He has indeed, yes, because he's extended the gap, exactly what I was just going to say. So, you know, great job by him, but hey, they're going to have some fight in their belly at that EKS team, aren't they?
They could have won France, couldn't they, mate? There's no
without shadow of a doubt. Without shadow of a doubt, but they're going to have fight in their belly.
Talk us through this, Guy. Talk us through the onboard with Andreas.
Okay, yeah, this is a long right-hander. Like I said, it's a concrete-ish circuit here, but it's a bit loose, and you've got to get on the right side over the jump here, land it flat. You can have a little dip, but not if you're carrying big speed. On the brakes, probably down to second gear now. A little bit touch of handbraking off he is into the Joker lap. Just brake straight here. See there, he's
not bad. He misses it by a foot, but it's not bad.
Much.
But not such a good job as Ekstrom did when he went into the Joker lap and managed to hold off Solberg around the left-hander. Ekstrom is going to take this. The target time is bottom left. Is it going to be enough? It's not. So Sebastian Loeb's time is looking pretty good. 0.8 of a second off for Matthias Ekstrom. But Loeb currently at the top of Q1 with just 2 races down. So we've still got, of course, Kristoffersson and co to come in the later races. There's Scheider.
Yeah, right rear was down on the car.
Okay, so a problem for Timo, like Kevin Eriksson. Here's the result of race 2. Ekstrom, Solberg, Backerud, Häkkinen and Scheider. And you'll see for yourselves now where they go in. It's a good run for Sebastian Loeb in Peugeot. We know Peugeot did a lot of work here, but we were expecting them to be stronger than they were in Loiac. Audi with a good response to the difficulties of the Joker lap choice last time out in France. So interesting stuff, a long way to go. So this is the replay. It's very hard for us to see from the commentary box who's quickest off the line there, but it looked like Ekstrom just got the RPM right, Guy, because he was clearly in front and able to shut the door. Or is it coming from P5, the better line?
Well, it definitely is the better line, because it opens out the corner, but at the same time you have to do the business with reaction off the start line, the car.
Otherwise you can't take the line.
Exactly, because there's a car in front of you blocking it. So P2 is really a good line. P2, P3, if you get a standard drag, because you can lean on the car outside you. P1's very difficult, because that corner is so tight. But yet again, going back into Joker, Petter did a great job in here. Really tidy. Nice and neat.
You wondered, don't you, if it was the... I'm trying to think where he lost the time to Matthias, because I was expecting him to be closer. I wonder if Matthias just did a better job of his one lap on his own than Solberg did. And that's the kind of thing we see Kristoffersson do, that super accurate, okay, France, I need 3/10 on this last lap in one corner. Oh, yeah. I got them. You know, this is what I need, respond, get the job done. So this was backward. And again, when we're saying, oh, look, he's a foot off, it's tiny margins, but...
That's what makes a difference.
Yeah. 3 cars over the line.
So Matthias, not quite as quick as Sebastian, but quicker than Solberg, which must make you quite happy.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good start, which was the base for the heat win. So afterwards, I drove as fast as I could. Did 2-3 small mistake, but not the gap which we are missing to him. So he was faster. We have to tune a bit to be able to catch them now for Q2.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so interesting. Matthias feels that they weren't as quick as they need to be. Guy, you're having a look at the timing screens and lap times. I'm interested to see with these later races whether or not you think the track will clean. We've actually had a lot of laps this morning. We had 2 hours of free practice. All of European Rallycross has been out already, and yet we're still seeing some gravel. Are we going to see an advantage for guys like Kristoffersen, who's in the last race, race 4?
I think it is just plucking it from the surface. It doesn't look to be cleaning so much. So even though they're brushing it and they're taking the same line,
they then
almost
pull more rocks out.
because it's breaking an acceleration point. An acceleration right as you come to the jump around the long right, and then breaking over the crescent to the hairpin, and again breaking into the joker in the standard lap. You know, they're just dragging it a little bit out of the surface all the time.
We'll see. We will see. 2 more races to go in Q1. I'm looking out my window. I can see that race 3 is on the line. So let's take a look at the grid for Q1, race 3. Bennett on the inside. Raced in all sorts of Rallycross series this year. British Rallycross, America's Rallycross as well. Alex Wirtz, so pleased to be back in a Rallycross car. We'll talk about him in a minute. Timmy Hansen in the middle of the grid. Nico Muller, who was so impressive in free practice this morning. And Yannis Baumanis on the outside. The home hope for the massive crowd here in Riga. Hansen having a look left and right. Getting himself ready. Baumanis too.
He looks rather cool, doesn't he, considering it's his first race in front of his home crowd this year?
Yeah, he would love a result like Canada. He wants to make it through to the final, I know that much. Okay, going to find out whether or not he's going to get a decent start to his weekend here. Ekström did well from out on the outside. Bad reaction time for Baumanis. He goes backwards. Hansen, even start on the inside there. Manages to get down ahead of Wirtz. Muller's going to try and come around the outside. He's up the inside for turn 2. Hansen sent that. Bennett gets P3. Wirtz has dropped down to 4th. Again, it's yes. Wirtz in 4th place. Baumanis down to 5th. Baumanis was really slow off the start.
Nico Muller made that look easy, didn't he? I thought
yes.
Hansen had that, but Nico Muller, with all his racecraft, just kept it going and thought, I'm just going to give it a chance. And Hansen actually checked up on the brakes to try and take a nice line, and Nico Muller said, no, bang, I'm going to close you off. And went round the outside.
All over the back of him now, squashes the jump. He's right up behind Muller, so Hansen is looking quicker than Muller here. A little nudge, has a look up the inside. Hansen surely now has to do something. Will he go joker? He doesn't. He can't really with the traffic behind.
Yeah, exactly that, because especially with such a varying degree of drivers in this race, obviously Wirtz hasn't been in the car for a while. Obviously we've got Bennett in here. You haven't got the real sharp customers that you can trust that they're going to bang the lap times in here, but Hansen's car looked really pointy on the nose.
Yeah.
We know the EKS Audi is no slouch, but Nico Muller's being kept honest here, isn't he?
He is. Little nip on the handbrake from Hansen when he got the car in the middle of the corner, and then it looked like the nose was getting sucked a bit too much up the inside. Hansen's got him. Muller runs wide. Hansen's got him on the run up to turn 3. Guy, good driving here by Hansen to stay right with him. Unfortunately, though, that is going to hurt his overall time that first lap, because he looked to me quicker than Muller.
He did indeed. His car looks more pointy, doesn't it? It looks a little bit stiffer in the chassis. If you watch the Audi, maybe not around this corner we're going to see, but when you watch at the tarmac, just had a bit more body roll in it. It was just dragging the car offline ever so slightly, and he did make a mistake down in that bottom corner, but the car didn't help him. It just ran wide and he couldn't bring it back.
Muller made the final here last year. Of course, that was his second Rallycross event. He'd been to Lauillac before. I spoke to him this morning. He was really looking forward to this. Timmy Hansen, for me, is the guy this year who could have challenged Johan Kristoffersen. Yeah, if you think it was Barcelona when the engine had a problem, didn't it, in the semi-final? He clipped the barrier in Portugal. He had a wheel go. Wirtz gone round. Had a problem with the wheel. I just feel like he's been the guy that the Peugeot was so quick. They got the new car. Maybe one event it didn't work. It worked in Canada, and again it didn't quite go their way.
Yeah, he's just not quite had the rub of the green, and sometimes you can help yourself, and sometimes it's in the lap of the gods. You know, you just get a bit of bad luck. But yes, Timmy Hansen's been quick on a varying number of tracks this year, and like you say, whether he's the only one that maybe could have challenged Johan, I don't know. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
It's you look at Sebastian, you look at Petter. Johan has just been, mercurial. He's just laid it down at every track, time after time after time. Bit of luck in France, but nevertheless, back to the action here, and obviously Timmy Hansen out in front, yet to do his joker. Nico Muller has taken his joker.
4.3 seconds. It should be a clear joker. Oh, we see a spin in front of us in commentary. Oliver Bennett has gone round now in the same place, I think, where Wirtz did. You're looking at Timmy Hansen. Target time 3:21.9, but we know he lost some time on the first lap. Lowe's best lap was a 48.3, and Hansen has been unable to match that. So I think he won't be taking the top time off his teammate Loeb here.
I'm not so sure.
Okay, well, let's see. Guy Wilkes thinks he might be able to do it.
Actually, sorry, no, my maths has failed me because I forgot he had the joker.
Don't worry, mate. I wasn't sure how many laps there were left earlier, so we're fine. Into the right-hander, Timmy Hansen down towards the left. Peugeot would like both cars up at the sharp end of the timesheet if they can get it. 3:21.9 is the time of Sebastian Loeb. Checker flag is out. Not so far off. I think it was only fourth. Okay, so it was 0.8 for Ekstrom. So Ekstrom remains in P2, Muller with that mistake, and I think Muller costing Hansen, I say, just a couple of tenths on that first lap.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there, Andrew. You know, we just got bogged a little bit, and Nico Muller did a great job, like I said, off the start line in the first two corners, but that didn't pay off for Timmy Hansen. Timmy Hansen obviously was the slightly quicker driver on every single lap.
Bennett's only just crossed the line. He was 27 seconds off. Alex Wirtz was 17 off, and that was because both those guys suffered spins. So it's not plain sailing for everyone here. Good job by Hansen, particularly to get past Muller and limit the time loss. And that's not to say Muller is slow. He's not. He's very quick indeed. Baumanis with, I thought, a slow reaction at the start. We might see that on the replays in a moment. Hansen and Muller look slotting where you would expect them to be. So interesting, isn't it? With this third Audi here this weekend, I asked Nico this morning and said it's a very similar spec to the cars which the guys are using. So he can play a similar role that Kevin Hansen plays for Peugeot. What will that see at the end of the weekend? Might we see 3 Audis or indeed 3 Peugeots through? Look at Baumanis.
Nico Muller it was just creeping a little bit, had to dip on the clutch there. That's how, and Hansen nailed it.
Do you think Baumanis was distracted by Muller?
I don't know. I was watching Muller and Hansen, if I'm honest. But, you know, we see around this first corner, obviously the train coming in there, and obviously we're looking at the back of Baumanis. Baumanis bitterly disappointed with his start. But yeah, here over the jump you can see just Hansen's just waiting. His car's tighter on the exits. You can see here he can hold a tighter line.
Yeah,
the car is
on board
underneath
at that point, weren't we? And that was where he nipped the handbrake and pulled it right in. And
see again, the car gets dragged wide. He was a little bit late in there, but the car's still going away from the track.
This is on board with Hansen through the past. He can just see that Muller's there. Thank you very much. That's what you want up the inside, and great job by Timmy Hansen. So, okay, track temperature 21.7. It is a very nice day here in Riga. Sun shining. I don't think it's going to rain today. We've got one more race left to go in Q1. The world champion is in that one, along with Liam Doran, Kevin Hansen, Gronholm. Some quick drivers still to come, but Timmy Hansen took that one.
Timmy, it's always good to watch you doing overtakes. You tend to overtake pretty much at least once every weekend, but do you think you actually lost time behind Nico on that first lap?
Yeah, I do think I lost time. He made a very clever move on the outside in turn 1. I made a brilliant getaway from the start, and I thought I was alone, but he had me there into turn 2. So well done by him. Then I managed to get back past on the second lap, but it cost too much time, you know. So the car felt great. I had a good rhythm, but when I just have the 2 last laps to try to catch, the quick guys are too fast. But it's nice to see Seb is still leading right now. Let's see if it's lasting for the final race as well.
Well done, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Like to see that. Timmy giving a bit of kudos to Nico. Very clever move, he said. Muller just went deep on the brakes and late. Got up the inside for turn 2. There is Kenneth. One more car to spot for. Peugeot have had quite a job on their hands in this session because, of course, all 3 cars have been in different races. That's not a bad thing in terms of tactics, but it's a long time up in the spotters tower for them. Niklas Gronholm on the inside for this one. Certainly the best of the non-manufacturer drivers this year. Robin Larsen had an absolutely torrid weekend in France and wasn't over the moon yesterday at the press conference, so let's hope he has a better run here. Christopherson was amazing at the press conference. You need to get on social media and see what he said when we asked him for 3 words to describe his season. I'm not telling you, go and find it. Liam Doran, fantastic drive from him in France. This morning, as I say, GCK were hoping for a bit more pace, but they need a bit more time at this track. Kevin Hansen on the outside has been testing here in the summer. So this should be another special outing. What can the world champion do from the middle of the grid? Some good starts from the outside too. Thumbs up for the final race of Q1. Okay, watch for ready to race. Top right of your screen, you'll see the little orange light comes on. When that goes out, random gap to the green. Mega reaction time by Christopherson. Larsen left on the grid. Christopherson trying to move across on Gronholm, but Gronholm's got the line. Kevin Hansen though, watch him around the outside. Contact, sandwich 4 cars. Oh, Kevin's in the wall on the inside. It's only a soft tap, and the world champion comes out of it smelling of roses. Oh, contact! Oh, Doran held on. Gronholm the gravel there, straight into the side of Liam, and Liam somehow held on to that.
I saw it happening because, as you know, I always let you go with the starts, and I saw Niklas get on the gravel and couldn't get the traction.
Guy, the rear right of Doran's car is broken.
It was a heavy impact. I thought it might be. He's got to keep it going. He's got to do what he can. This is the same as what we saw Kevin Eriksson with before. So difficult on the XL and the braking. Niklas Grunholm needs to get past him as quick as he can.
What do you think?
Joker, he's got a joker.
Yeah, he has. I don't know what. Gutted for Liam and for GCK. We were looking forward to spin on the inside.
Larson.
That's unusual. Larson's got a problem, guy. There's no way he will spin there. And Kevin, look, Kevin's absolutely miles back. Kevin's just coming onto the joker lap on the outside of the shot you're seeing now. And as I said at the start, comes out with smelling the roses. There he is, Kristoffersson out completely clear in the front and able to do what he needs to do. How does he do it?
He made his own look there.
Yeah.
Because he reacted better and the car got better traction. It's again what I was saying. It's about the team doing a great job. You know, the engineers doing a great job. He reacted faster. He got half a car a length ahead, and that's what made sure he was safe. Yes, there was a bit of bumping and rubbing, but that's what squeezed him out when he was in open air.
Kevin, I think, was trying to do the Muller move, wasn't he, around the outside, but he didn't quite lead. Of course, he probably didn't realise that three cars were side by side, because Grönholm had got a brilliant getaway and was still level with Kristoffersson at turn one.
Yeah, he did indeed, but at the same time, what Kevin did, there was a bit more action going on, and he couldn't get around the outside cleanly. He probably tried to dart on the inside a little bit too early. Easy for us to say here, when you're in the car, you know, it's a whole different kettle of fish. But Larson, he stalled on the start line. I watched him in morning practice. He didn't get off the line once. The engine mapping didn't sound right whatsoever.
They've had something in the region of 5 or 7. I need to look at my stats, but 5 or 7 engine changes this year. So they've dropped way down the Drivers' Championship. And my understanding, fastest lap of the day, Johan Kristoffersson. My understanding is they're working on development of the engine for the future, which is fair enough. You know, if you know you're out of the title race, you can do what you like, can't you? Kristoffersson, though, aiming for that top time. I'm wondering if Liam is still circulating or not. He's showing us 2 laps still. He was showing not far off the back at that point, but where is he?
Yeah, he's there on the screen. Niklas right behind him, so Niklas must have a problem as well.
Well, Liam's doing brilliantly to be holding on to this. Admittedly, he's not going to set an absolutely fantastic time.
Let's watch the right rear as he comes around here. Yeah, it's not big as track change as what we saw on the Olsberg's OMSE car, but it is.
I think it's bent, not broken, so it is at least, I think, consistent in its angle rather than...
I just saw it then, it kind of went neutral, and then I think you'll probably see it start to toe out a little bit.
It's not, you see though, it's not making the angle changes though of the... Okay, so Doran then not suffering as badly as we thought. Let's see what he can salvage from this run. Definitely the innocent victim there. I'm not blaming Grönholm for it. He's off on the loose and pulling gears. You know, he doesn't necessarily know that he's going to come in side-by-side contact.
Well, he was facing a tyre wall, which is like driving at a wall. You're not going to hit that. You want to keep time, so you're going to avoid it. But obviously, you know, mirrors on these cars aren't the greatest.
Kristoffersson is coming around the last couple of corners to try and take the fastest time off Sebastian Loeb, as you see. Doran going to the joker lap, 3:21.9. Oh, he's done it! He's done it! 9 thousandths of a second. Johan Kristoffersson takes Q1 here by the tiniest of margins. 9 thousandths of a second for Kristoffersson to win Q1. Wow, Guy Wilkes.
The man of the moment, isn't he?
9 thousandths!
You can't even click
Where
your
is
fingers.
9 thousandths?
What is it?
Oh my goodness. Okay, but great stuff from Loeb. Loeb 3 races earlier. Guy's not sure the track's cleaning. I'm inclined to agree with him. So we've got a fight on our hands here this weekend. Kristoffersson takes him by 9 thousandths of a second. The session, Grönholm, Doran. Doran did well. They're trying to lose 10 seconds after the damage on the first lap. There you see Johan at the top. Niklas just about makes it to P8. So Doran might be inside the top 12 if he's lucky there. But okay, well, 9 thousandths of a second. Look at that at the top. I wouldn't mind betting that's the closest ever win in a qualifying session in the World Rallycross Championships history. But and as Guy Wilkes points out, the screen, Volkswagen, Audi and Peugeot all up there. Dreadful start. Right, watch Johan here. Well, watch Kevin. So Kevin's come real wide. These guys are 3 abreast, look. In fact, Johan gets clattered on the inside by Grönholm. Grönholm gets a wheel lifted.
And he can't get traction on the gravel there. That's what caused him.
I reckon he might get a little bit of a tail off for that guy. I feel he could have lifted there slightly and not hit Doran. What do you think?
It's racing. You don't want to lose time. There was a gap there. Liam lost time. Niklas was losing time. It was a question of, you know, it was going to happen. It was just how hard it was going to be.
Yeah, and
it was hard enough, obviously, to cost them both too much time.
9 thousandths of a second. Our smallest winning margin is 5 or 6 thou, wasn't it? Which was Estering between Solberg and Ekstrom, but that was in a final. But I would be interested. Come on, get on to Stat Geeks at home. We need somebody to We need somebody
But
to look it
in
up
cricket,
at home.
the commentators have somebody working in the background doing this, don't they?
We'll find
we
where
need
to go.
someone.
I'll tell you who we need. I know exactly who we need. Me and Guy need to go and find Peter the Bear. We call him. He works on the timing team.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to know if that's the closest margin we've ever had, timing's. I'm looking at the timings.
I bet he won't have to check.
No, he probably won't know. He'll just know.
Bang.
Peter will know. Peter, if you're watching. Wow.
We need the knowledge.
Yeah,
we need the knowledge.
the shortest, the closest finish in a final was 5 thousandths, but this is 9 thousandths of a second for a qualifying session. So we don't think we've seen it that close before in a qualifying session. We'll find out for you ahead of Q2. We'll go and ask Peter. He's our man. Guy, interesting session. Super close between Kristoffersen and Sebastian Loeb. Audi are up there as well, looking at the time. So Ekstrom feels they could tune a little bit more time into it. I mean.
Yeah, it's one of those things, obviously Loeb got a clear run, Kristoffersen got a great clear run, got a bit of a tap. At the same time, Matthias Ekstrom, he wasn't quite happy with the car, and I noticed it was just rolling a little bit. I think there's time to come from them, which I'm pleased. The other two cars looked obviously really good, as they always do.
Yeah.
It's not that the Audi looked bad, it just looked like, yes, it could be improved. Great. Three different manufacturers, 3 different drivers, all the usual suspects. It's just that there's quite a few people there who've faced too many problems than they would have liked to have.
There's been a few issues. Let's take a look at the standings after Q1 and we'll try and pick the bones of this and figure out who's done well and who's lost out. So Kristoffersen taking it by 9 thousandths of a second, Sebastian Loeb in P2, then Ekstrom, Solberg, Timmy Hansen and Baccarat. So we've got, the 2 factory Peugeots, the 2 factory Volkswagens, the 2 factory Audis. Then Müller, who is the best of the rest. Niklas Gronholm, that's usually his position. He's down in P8. I wonder if we have a second page. We do. So Gulan Shisharit, Timur Timosyanov, Hakkinen and Baumanis. Baumanis, the Latvian, currently in the top 12. Liam Doran, only just outside,
well.
so not too much of a disaster, salvaging that with the car damage. Kevin Hansen, for me, is the guy who's had the worst luck there, and that was trying that move around the outside and ending up in the wall.
Yeah, he went really wide, as we saw on the replay, and then he just dove in too early for me. But it's one of those things, like I said, watching it from here, we're really on top of that, although we're watching the screen. He just dove in too early, and not that he caused it, it's just one of those things that's very difficult to call.
Yeah, really difficult. So he tried the move. We saw Müller pulled it off earlier. He didn't know what was happening on the inside. Yeah, it's a pretty tricky turn 1 and turn 2. But an exciting Q1. It's very, very close between the usual suspects. That's easy for me to say. And Neil Cole is with one of the usual suspects now.
Yeah, I think I just set the fastest lap getting from the end of the circuit into the paddock. I'm a little bit sweaty. Timmy, that was a very dramatic finish to the session. Sebastian Loeb's going to join us as well. I think it was 9 thousandths of a second. Johan was quicker than you, but that's almost nothing. How does that translate in terms of distance on the track? 9 thousandths of a second.
Like this, but it's like this too much. So finally, second, it was a clean race. I did a good hit, no problem. So he was just a little bit too fast.
I just got a nod from Bruno Faman, the boss, to say we've only got 2 minutes, so I'll let you go, Sebastian, if that's okay. Timmy, if we have a little look at this screen over here, we've got an onboard. It would be great for you to talk us through what this lap is like here at Riga.
This circuit. From the start, I made a great launch here, really good. So I thought I was alone going into turn 1. But Nico made a very clever move. He pulled me there to go around the outside in turn 1 to have the inside line into turn 2. I don't know if the picture is moving as slow for everybody, but he got me there. I slotted in behind. Then for 2 laps I was chasing, and I was maybe a meter behind him sometimes. I was super close, but I didn't want to touch him because I didn't want him to lose time, because then we would both lose time. Then finally I got passed in corner 4, I was pushing on from there.
Is that when you're in the car? Because to us, obviously, that was slow-mo. That was a technical mistake. But does it feel that slow in the car when you're kind of hypersensitive to what's going on around you?
No, it doesn't feel that slow. It feels really fast. Especially, from the green light goes on, and all the decisions you have to take before you hit the brakes and turn into turn 1. That's a crazy moment right there, and it's super difficult.
Okay, well, obviously you got yourself in a good heat for qualifying 2, so good luck. I know you've got to go off and prepare, so thank you very much, Timmy. Timmy Hansen, we'll be seeing him a bit later. But now, join us, here comes his car. Join us at about 3:30 local time, that's Latvian time, which is British summertime plus 2 hours, I believe, where you'll see these cars in action. And again, spread the word, we'll be back later on for qualifying 2. Thanks for watching.